May the words of my lips and the meditations of my heart be always righteous in your sight. Amen. Firstly, before I get into this little talk, I'd like to apologise for this messy scruff on my top. I'm doing November this year, a charity that encourages men to grow a moustache and raise sponsorship which goes towards issues that impact us, members of the not-so-fair sex, such as testicular or prostate cancer. However, unlike the actor Henry Cavill, who played Superman in DC's film Justice League, St. Mark's can't afford the special effects budget to remove this with CGI for the video that will be shared online later. Still, I digress. I've thought about starting a business. I'm going to make unique and specially crafted items, and they are all individual and personal. No two are quite alike. There's a lot of complexity in each item, and the cost of each is priceless, as the time it takes to craft and nurture each piece counts not in minutes or the hours, but rather in years, if not decades. Everybody will want one. They're all incredibly special and take so much effort to produce. It's a shame that there is only a 75% error rate in manufacture, though. Only 1 in 4 makes it through to the distribution department. If this was a pitch on Dragon's Den, I'm fairly sure that very quickly a chorus of "I'm out" would be heard. What sort of business gets by on 3/4 of the product not being viable? However, to generalise and call humanity the product, that's exactly what we're hearing tonight, the take-home message that we read in the passage we've heard, the parable of the sower. The parable, as you know, tells the story of a farmer sowing seeds and the fate that befalls the seeds he sows. Who the farmer is can depend on your viewpoint. It's certainly clear that the farmer is Jesus, spreading the gospel answer to humanity. However, I will argue that we can read that the sower can be each and every one of us too, sowing the seed of the gospel, and society can grow and flourish from these words. We've 3 out of 4 failures there. The first are those who just don't want to know. I think we all know the type. People who don't want to accept the words of others, deaf to even contemplate the idea. In the parable, this is the seed that's not sown so much as fallen by the wayside, devoured by the birds. I think I'd liken this to the Flat Earth Brigade. For centuries, proof that the Earth is a sphere had been clear to see, but some individuals just refuse to see it. The word of God is clear to hear, but out of context, those who aren't ready to hear it, falling onto stubborn hearts and never standing a chance to really take root. Our second failure seems at first to be an immediate success. I fear sometimes I can fall into this category. Upstairs in my spare room is a guitar. I bought it second-hand from a friend and tidied it up nicely. New strings, polished. I even replaced the machine heads with better ones that hold the tension better. It was perfect. I recall the time I started learning to play at university, some 20 years ago now, and even found an old chord book. I picked up a plectrum and started to strum. I remembered some chords. I could play a scale. This might work. I think I picked up the guitar twice in 6 months. I don't want to admit it, but the idea was compelling. However, have I failed in my goals? In much the same way as the guitar, I'm also the gym's best customer. I'll pay for my membership. I'll pop along a few times too, and I'll really get into it. But then I'll miss a day, then 2, and a year later, the gym's happy. I've paid a subscription, but no wear and tear on their equipment from my behalf. Jesus' truth sounds fantastic, and immediately some people flourish from it. However, as time passes, the attraction wanes, the soil thins, and the once keen drift away. Our third failure. And in modern society, I would argue that this is the most compelling stumbling block that we face. Distractions are all around us. from the never-ending Facebook feed that many scroll through each day. I mean, I sometimes waste so much time in the evening. Nothing of interest really, but there might be in the next page. We keep going, I don't know. Same with television. Over 100 channels, but is there anything really worth watching? It's a distraction of toys and gadgets that we must have, and the envy we have for our friends, our colleagues and our neighbours who have what we don't. Keeping up with the Joneses means we forget to keep up with Jesus, and as a result, we find ourselves lacking time to pray. We're too busy to attend Sunday, and just not enough time to help out with that fair on Saturday or to support that midweek talk or concert. Choked by the weeds of distraction, the seeds that had begun to flourish and even showed signs of germinating wither away. You know, the Bible isn't the book I thought it was. I thought before I'd come to faith that it was indeed good news, not something containing such a negative message. Who wants to read that? Would not a happy message be more likely to sell the book? Three-quarter failure? But then, that's why the Bible is such a powerful thing. It's real, and with any parable you read or you hear, the message can resonate. But here's the thing. I don't believe the three-quarters who fail are all truly lost. As with effectively unlimited forgiveness for those who turn to Christ, we're free to turn back to Christ on hearing the truth. It may be that today we're at an emotional low and effectively barren. Tomorrow we're akin to weak soil, a glimmer of potential and enthused to engage, but without the stamina for the longer haul. Next week, we're surrounded by detractors and distractions, and we're unable to focus. But at all times, the message is there, and we've every chance to engage with it. I started this talk with my business venture. If this were a business and 75% failure rate was expected, the dragons in the den would run a mile. What a waste of the seed. Why would the sower spread the germs of potential where it would go to waste? But here's the thing, the message is free for all, and everybody is equally welcome to receive God's grace through Jesus' sacrifice. It's fair to say that in many cases, for many people at a given time, a person may not be ready to hear the message. However, tomorrow they might be, and the seed sown today can help encourage the seed sown later. Jesus is the farmer. His sacrifice and grace, the seed, and we are the soil, able to accept this truth and grow under it. We, however, can also be the farmer for one another, helping in turn to share Jesus' truth with those that we meet, fertilizing the soil, so to speak, and helping to turn hearts and minds to accept Jesus in their own time. What a blessing it is that the 75% failure rate need not be the final word. And what a responsibility we have to help nurture the seed in others. And what a gift it is when we can help those around us to flourish.